In the year 1945, two soldiers are flying home after fighting in World War II. However, they quickly realize that something is wrong when their flight equipment goes haywire. Soon, numerous winged creatures start flying towards them and collide with the plane. The men are immediately forced to parachute out. When one of the soldiers manages to land on the beach of an island, he quickly realizes they are not alone. As he looks at his friend, who is still in the air, he sees a massive crocodile emerge from the water and devour the other pilot in a single gulp, leaving the soldier stranded on the island. Many years later, a commercial airplane passes through the same location where the incident with the two pilots occurred, now known as the Bermuda Triangle. However, the passengers are completely unaware of the danger they are heading towards. A man named Hal, a single father, is traveling with his teenage daughter, Lynn. He is deeply dissatisfied with her new boyfriend, Chen. The father demands to know how long they have been dating but is met with resentful replies from his daughter, leaving him no choice but to confront the boyfriend with anger. Before he can argue further, the entire plane starts experiencing severe turbulence, causing panic among the passengers as they struggle to put on their oxygen masks. Things worsen when the pilots realize their flight equipment is failing, leaving them no choice but to slowly descend the plane towards a nearby island. However, before the aircraft can reach it, they see several creatures flying towards them, colliding with the turbines and causing massive damage to the plane. This leads to a rapid descent towards the ocean, as the pilots desperately try to maintain control. The aircraft suffers a gash on its side, and people are sucked out due to the pressure difference. Hal tries to reach where his daughter was seated and eventually manages to hold onto a seat. The plane crashes into the water, breaking apart, and everyone loses consciousness. When Hal finally regains consciousness, he quickly rescues his daughter and takes her to land, where they realize only a handful of people have survived. The passengers soon discover they are trapped on an island, leaving them no choice but to gather all the resources they can find. They soon realize that there is scarce drinkable water, and their phones have no signal. Understanding that they won't last long on the beach, Hal decides to venture into the forest to find more resources for survival. He ventures into the jungle alongside Chen, his daughter's boyfriend, and another survivor. They don't go far before they come across a small, rustic cabin. Inside, they find weapons and ammunition, but most importantly, they discover a notebook that appears to have belonged to the surviving soldier from World War II. Luckily, the survivor who came with them is an English-speaking professor who quickly learns, by reading the diary, that the island is infested with giant monsters. They immediately return to the beach to warn the others about the potential danger. However, when people realize something is approaching them from the water, the flight attendant is attacked and devoured by a crocodile. Everyone witnesses this and immediately starts running away, but several reptiles climb onto the beach and begin devouring the people who were too slow to escape. When Hal finally returns from the forest with the others, they are shocked to see that everyone has left the area, leaving only crocodile footprints behind. Hal believes that their friends might still be alive, leading them to immediately pursue the survivors. At the same time, they were still being relentlessly pursued by the creatures that devoured anyone left behind. The survivors are eventually divided into groups as they escape in different directions, and Lynn manages to reach a clearing with Lee, his pregnant wife, and others who manage to escape the crocodile attack. Fortunately, they find a source of fresh water, allowing them to quench their thirst, but Lee starts hearing noises coming from the forest. They soon realize that it is Hal and the others, and they finally manage to reunite. However, before they can celebrate, Hal begins to sense vibrations in the area, causing everyone to freeze in fear as they hear the noises growing louder. What the survivors don't realize is that a giant crocodile has been hiding behind some rocks all this time. The creature starts to awaken and rise, approaching one of the survivors who is drinking water. The man freezes in fear as the enormous beast approaches him, so scared that he ends up urinating in his pants. The others helplessly watch as the young man is swallowed whole by the giant creature, prompting everyone else to run in desperation to escape. The massive reptile furiously advances towards them, leaping directly at Hal, who narrowly avoids the monster's attack. A woman gets her foot caught on the rocks, catching the creature's attention, and she is instantly devoured by its massive teeth. Fortunately, this allows the rest of the group to temporarily escape the creature's sight. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Fong has managed to survive alongside a woman more concerned with becoming famous than with avoiding becoming monster food. The girl quickly proves to be dead weight as she foolishly manages to get covered in a viscous liquid. She demands that Fong help her clean it off, but the indifferent man seems to prefer her staying that way. What these two fools don't realize is that the liquid is actually giant spider eggs. At the same time, Lynn finally wakes up and realizes that her father is not there. She tries to leave to find him, but quickly realizes that they are surrounded by giant insects within a fog. They silently try to wake the others to avoid being noticed by the monsters, and the people have no choice but to slowly exit the small cabin, doing their best to avoid the creatures. However, their plan quickly fails when one of them foolishly tries to run in a different direction, colliding with a tree and then realizing that a lot of viscous liquid falls on their head. Immediately, they spot a giant insect that kills them instantly. The rest of the group witnesses this and realizes that the other monsters are now moving towards them, forcing them to flee desperately while the creatures closely pursue them. All the commotion eventually alerts Hal, who immediately rushes back after hearing the screams. But before the people can think they are safer, they quickly realize that more monsters are approaching, forcing them to run deeper into the forest. The survivors desperately try to get rid of the pursuing creatures and eventually succeed when they hide in dense foliage among the trees and wait for the spiders to leave. To their surprise, they start hearing footsteps coming towards them, but they soon realize it's Hal. Sensing all the monsters in the area, he yells to draw their attention and leads them away, giving the others a chance to escape. Hal runs quickly, trying to outsmart the monsters, and eventually returns to the small rustic cabin where he finds the professor already hiding there. However, they don't realize that there is already a monster above them waiting to ambush them. The two try to wait until the area is clear, but they are quickly attacked from above, and the professor is killed, leaving Hal alone as the giant creature continues to attack him from the roof. Hal tries to fight back, but is no match for the creature. He is thrown against the walls, and the monster quickly tries to drag him back inside. Fortunately, Hal manages to free himself and, moving away, he throws a grenade at the creature, blowing it into pieces. Meanwhile, the survivors who manage to escape from the other creature's attempt to cross a small stream. But before they can reach the other side, they are attacked by a crocodile, leaving them stunned with fear. Chen tries to attack the animal but seems to have forgotten how to walk and, clumsily falling, gives the creature a perfect opportunity to devour him. But luckily for him, Hal arrives just in time and rescues him. The crocodile turns its attention to Hal, but he manages to avoid the attack, causing the animal to retreat. Hal goes towards the others and reunites with his daughter, promising that everything will be alright. At the same time, Liqui, who managed to get covered in spider liquid, finally finds a water source along with Fang. They quickly quench their thirst and then she starts to wash herself when suddenly she realizes there was something in the water. But before the woman can get out, she is quickly grabbed by Fang, who wants to have something more with her in the lake. However, he is immediately rejected by the girl, and when they are about to leave the water, the woman is suddenly grabbed by the leg by the creature, causing her to cling to Fang's leg. Instead of helping her, he repeatedly kicks the girl as if she were the crocodile, allowing her to be quickly devoured by the enormous reptile. On the other side, the survivors continue venturing through the forest, and to their surprise, they come across a crashed plane that likely belonged to the deceased soldiers. They try to find any working equipment they can use, eventually finding a machine gun and a functioning radio. Lynn takes the chance and immediately calls for help, finally giving some hope to everyone that they can still survive this journey. They all decide to head to the beach immediately. The group eventually arrives at a large river that they need to cross in order to reach the beach, but the pregnant woman cannot swim in her condition. So the team is forced to help her by constructing a makeshift raft, with Hal volunteering to swim ahead and pull her across once they reach the other side. After reaching the other side, the others start swimming to cross as well. Everything seems to be going according to plan, but Hal quickly realizes something is terribly wrong when the giant crocodile surfaces. People start panicking as they swim desperately for their lives, with the massive creature heading towards them. Lynn manages to cross with her boyfriend, while Fang starts swimming back to the other side. Lee is still in the water, trying to push his wife to the other side of the river, and seeing that they have no chance to escape, he pushes his wife away while sacrificing himself in front of everyone to give her a chance to escape. Ja screams in tears as the crocodile turns to attack again. Hal starts shooting at the creature with the machine gun from the raft, giving the others a chance to run, but the monster emerges from the water and chases them closely behind. People manage to reach a clearing while Hal tries to delay the monster using his weapon but is forced to dodge at the last moment. The giant reptile continues to pursue the others as they split into groups, but Fang eventually stumbles, and seeing this, Lin runs back to help him. However, Fang uses her as bait to try to escape, leaving the girl to be devoured by the monster. Just as she was about to be killed, Hao fortunately arrives and is able to distract the creature in time by continuously shooting, drawing its attention and allowing his daughter to escape. The barrage of bullets manages to injure the monster slightly, piercing its skin, but one of the shots accidentally hits Fang as well, paralyzing his legs. The creature, seeing the injured man, immediately charges towards him but also manages to wound and trap Lin with its terrible tail. The monster approaches Fang from behind, who can't escape and gets devoured. It then moves on, taking Lin trapped by its tail. Night falls over the land, and Hao finally tracks the creature to a cave, where the remaining survivors are also present. They cautiously enter the large tunnel and soon realize that the giant crocodile is sleeping next to the rocks. Chen tells the woman to go back to the entrance, but before Jia can leave, she quickly sees her husband's body, causing her to burst into tears. This puts everyone's life in danger as it almost awakens the giant monster, but luckily the woman manages to calm down in time. Hao continues to advance to find his daughter, carefully avoiding the enormous animal, and finally he finds her, incredibly still alive, while the monster prepares to attack him, leaving Hao with no choice but to shoot the monster to save him. Chen then runs towards Lin to try to take her out of the cave. The monster turns towards Hao, causing him to run deeper into the unknown of that place, luring the animal. He tries to shake off the beast by hiding in the smaller tunnels, while Chen manages to lead his girlfriend to the entrance. He hands Lin over to Jia and immediately decides to go back to help Hao, who is still running, trying to escape the monster. However, he is running out of places to hide while continuously shooting at the giant crocodile. Unfortunately, the bullets are not very effective, and to make matters worse, he runs out of ammunition at the worst moment. He then realizes that he dropped his grenade just behind the monster. Chen finally reaches where Hao is fighting the creature, and Hao quickly tells him to find the grenade immediately before the monster gets to him. Chen runs towards the rocks, frantically searching for the bomb when fortunately he finally finds it. He immediately runs towards the animal and throws the axe at it to get its attention and lure it away. This gives Hao a chance to escape while the young man is being pursued by the beast, but Chen quickly throws the grenade towards the monster, triggering a huge explosion that shakes the entire cave and causes great damage to the giant creature, apparently killing it as a result. Hao sees this and is relieved, thinking that the creature is dead. However, before they can leave, they quickly realize that the animal is still alive. This prompts Hao to grab his sword and roll down the rocks, while the crocodile charges at him, and he cuts it from below. The attack eventually manages to kill the giant monster, and Chen immediately rushes to get Hao out from under the creature. By sheer luck, Hao survived the battle, and they finally manage to exit the cave, reuniting with Jia and Lin shortly after. At dawn, they reach the beach, and several helicopters can be seen heading towards them to rescue them.